Welcome back to my humble abode. Those of you who've been here before may notice the new decor. What do you think?
So I finally got myself to record this video, finally, after 2 months. Don't even look at me, it's very complicated. I finally got myself to sit down and record this video. So Hogwarts Legacy came out in 2023 and took the world by storm, and I mean by storm. And it is highly regarded as one of the best Harry Potter games we've ever gotten since Chamber of Secrets, which actually happens to be one of my favorite Harry Potter games, especially the PC version, because I didn't have the PlayStation 2, but, you know, it is what it is. And as the year went on, actually even more than a year now, I've been playing this game and realizing that it's not as special as I first thought it to be. I realized that the game is very Ubisoft heavy, the story is not entirely engaging, and other stuff that drag this game down to borderline tedious levels, and yet I 100%ed it. Thrice. So what's up with that? Well, today's video is gonna be dedicated to some of the bad and some of the good of Hogwarts Legacy as I try to dissect why the hell do I like this game as much as I do, even though it has a bunch of problems that are kinda difficult to overlook as time goes on. But of course, it's very difficult to talk about this game without addressing the elephant in the room, which is the whole boycott and the whole J.K. Rowling situation. The video is not going to be about that, but I feel it important to touch upon it since it was unfortunately such an integral part of the game's launch that we need to address. Now, to summarize, J.K. Rowling is, well, for lack of a better word, is extremely transphobic in her online statements and her own agenda and stuff. And that's why people were boycotting this game, because they realized that it's just another income stream for her. So in that sense, I really understand why people would boycott this game. But unfortunately, as we've learned, it did not really work. Now, I'm going to confess, I did buy the game. I know, this is so bad. This is very, very bad. But I grew up on Harry Potter. It's my entire childhood, and I've been very, very excited about this game. And I decided to go ahead and purchase it anyway. It was my decision, not the one that I'm maybe the most proud of. However, just because I bought the game doesn't mean that I support J.K. Rowling or her horrendous transphobic statements online. Now, I will say that I need to tread carefully with this topic due to the laws of the country that I live in, but let me tell you that she doesn't get to tell you who you are. You are allowed to be whoever you want to be. And that's my firm belief. As long as you're a good person, I will support you and you are welcome here. It doesn't matter who you are, who you identify as long as you are a nice person, or at least trying to be one like all of us. You are welcome here. Actually, you are more than welcome here. I am so glad to have you on board. And that's unfortunately kind of the extent of probably what I can say, but you get it. And honestly, about Rowling, people say you are allowed to have your own opinion, and that's true. You are allowed to have your opinion, but you are also allowed to keep it to yourself. And it's one thing to have an opinion about something, or about a certain group of people, and it's a whole other thing donating to causes that would directly hinder or harm these groups of people. So, Miss Rowling, we are not friends. We are not friends. So let's actually get into the game itself. Let's start with the bad, actually. I know that's probably not the usual way, but we are gonna start with the bad things. Okay, so one of the very first things that I mentioned about this game, if you remember, is that it's extremely Ubisoft heavy. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, the game has a gigantic open world filled with side activities that are boring, tedious, and downright uninteresting to perform, and nothing else. Repetitive dungeons, repetitive Merlin trials, balloons, landing platforms, you name it. And that's all there is to the open world of this game. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, just skip all the boring stuff and just don't do it. Well, if you skip all the boring stuff, there isn't really anything to do in the game. Legit. And if it so happens that you want good gear, more ancient magic energy, more inventory slots, these side activities become mandatory activities. You can't get all the good stuff without completing those things. Sounds like so much fun. And also, they are mandatory as well if you want to complete the game for 100%. If you want to go for that, you will need to spend a lot of time to complete all these side activities. There are hundreds, and I mean hundreds of Merlin trials alone, and a bunch of other stuff that is, honestly, I did say that I completed this game at 100% 3 times. I'm not saying that some of these playthroughs were particularly enjoyable. Another thing that didn't really stand out to me was the story, both main and side quests. Some of them were good, like Poppy's storyline, but most of them unfortunately fell kind of flat for me. And there is a saving grace to the story, which I will get to when we talk about the good things about this game, which there are a lot, I promise. But overall, I didn't find the story engaging and particularly moving or emotional or interesting or memorable. Like, ask me what the hell happens in the main quest. I think I will be able to tell you, but with like good 10 minutes of remembering. It also doesn't help that some of these quests are followed by extremely stale facial animations with boring camera work that present no stimuli to hang on to, and it just forces you to think, oh my god, when is this dialogue going to end? I want to go back into the world and cast some spells. But the fully rendered cutscenes are okay though. I'm not complaining about those, and there are some of them that are a particular highlight for me, which we will get to a bit later. The next, and probably the last thing that I really despise, is the Room of Requirement. Where do I even start with this thing? So if you played the game, you know. And if you didn't play the game, let me introduce you to your own mobile game within a AAA project. So yes, basically Room of Requirement is your real-time mobile app farm simulator where you grow plants and resources and beasts to get resources for your gear if you want it to be good. And the problem is that most of these boring side activities are connected to the Room of Requirement. For example, if you want to complete Professor's assignments to gain new cool spells that you can cast, you need to grow a plant in the Room of Requirement, which forces you to interact with that aspect of the game, whether you like it or not. And also Merlin trials are activated with Mallow Sweet that you need to grow in the Room of Requirement. I am losing my damn mind. Now, I know some people really didn't mind it, and I guess at first I didn't as well, but on repeat playthroughs, going through the side quests to, fully actualize my room of requirement and the beasts territories, it was incredibly tedious and boring. Like, I was not looking forward to these quests, and I still don't. So yes, basically all of these things that I've mentioned, these boring side activities, the room of requirement, they're all interconnected with each other. That's why I can't ignore them when I replay the game. That's why I have to send them to the bad part of this video, because these are so unfun. There are so many things you can do in this game, which we will get to a bit later. I know I said that like 5 times already, but we will get to that. And honestly, tending to my mobile game farm isn't really one of the most engaging things in video games that I've ever experienced, but it's fine. I'm fine. So yes, I know I kind of ran past through all of this, but it's really everything that bothers me about this game. It's not a lot, as you can see. It's not a lot, but it still does. And honestly, to the point where I really don't want to replay the game again, even though I wanted to. I have a 4th character that is an unfinished character, basically. I haven't finished the main story, I didn't do all the side quests, so I don't really want to go back. I don't really want to replay through all of this again. But that being said, we're not here to just hate on this game. Obviously, there is a lot of good things about it, and there's a reason why people love it as much as they do, which brings us to the good part of the video game. Okay, so the first good thing, and a pretty obvious one, is that the game feels made with love. When you walk around these beautiful environments, landscapes, buildings like Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, you just feel that it was made with care and so much love for the franchise, for the fandom. And honestly, I could run around Honeydukes stuffing my face with cake and candy for hours. Does it do anything for you in-game? No. But do I still want to do it because it's so much fun? Absolutely yes. Why did you even ask? And to be fair with you, this is the game that I feel like I want to come back to, just to run around the map and explore and look, even though I previously said that the open world isn't really that special and very Ubisoft-like. It's just filled with an amazing atmosphere, and that makes all the difference between this game and Ubisoft games. Well, for me, at least. That's very subjective, but I'm just telling you how I feel. The next very good thing that I've actually enjoyed more than I thought I would is the combat, surprisingly. So what's the best way to describe this combat system? I guess think Spider-Man and Batman Arkham series, but magic. And more stale animations.
Levioso, Incendio, Protego. Accio.
Okay, I know this is probably a little bit too mean and nitpicky, but the animations do seem a bit choppy and bland is probably the word I would use. But honestly, it works. The controls feel responsive, the combat feels fluid, it doesn't feel choppy. It looks choppy, but it doesn't feel that way. And honestly, it's incredibly satisfying to have like 4 spell loadouts and use all of them in a single fight.
Repender. Confringo. Expelliarmus. Protego. Stupefy. Glacius. Defender.
It's so conveniently made that it's really simple to switch between your loadouts and cast so many different combinations of spells to absolutely demolish your poor enemies that I found the combat very addicting even. And don't even get me started on the finishers. There is one finisher in particular that lives in my mind rent-free. And if you know, you know. But I'm going to show it. You are so welcome. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life? Probably not. Actually, don't answer that. It's probably not the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life, but it works. It works very well. It's kind of brutal, but it's also magic. So I love it. And the last thing that I really wanted to highlight is the cutscenes. I know I already talked about them. I said that they feel stale, they feel boring, but I was talking about in-engine cutscenes. Main quest cutscenes are done better because they're fully rendered, but these are not even the cutscenes I'm talking about. I'm talking about the class cutscenes. There are class cutscenes that you get when you complete a professor's tasks and stuff, and these are just fun. They hold no value to the story, they hold no meaning, but they are just fun. And I like fun. I listen to Sabrina Carpenter. I'm not a fun nemesis. I am here to support fun, stupid fun. And these cutscenes, the class cutscenes, deliver on the stupid fun phenomenally. And with this, I think we can summarize. Overall, the game is not special at all. I think more and more people come to this realization, especially as time goes on. People realize that it's just another open world game with resource grind and level grind, but it's filled with so much fan service, with so much love, respect, and care for the franchise that it represents, that it's, especially when you're a fan, it's really hard not to fall in love with this project. And honestly, I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to decide whether or not you want to purchase this project for people who are a part of the community or who actively support the community, because on the one hand, it's something you grew up with, it's something that means the universe to you, it's something that you found comfort in for the longest time of your life, and on the other hand, you are filling the pockets of this absolutely horrendous human being who uses her money to support organizations that work against the community that you associate yourself with in one way or another. And honestly, I find myself in a very tricky position here because I can't fully allow myself to tell you to go ahead and purchase the game because of who Rowling is, and realizing that she's lining her pockets from this project does bother me a lot. But at the same time, the game's already made bank. It's insane amounts of money, and I think I've even seen that a very ginormous portion of this money already went to Rowling. So some people are saying that it doesn't matter anymore and you should, I guess you just go ahead and purchase the game anyway because that's a lost cause. So I'll leave this up to you. If you don't want to purchase this game, that's fine. I'm sure there are other ways you can play it. Maybe you can borrow someone's account, play it for yourself like once, and, put it to rest. Or you can purchase the game when it goes on sale or for full price. That's up to you. I'm not sure that there is the correct option here. There is no right choice, I'm afraid. I know that there are a lot of people that say that if you buy this game, you support transphobia, you support hate crimes against trans people, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that strongly because there is a strong emotional connection to the franchise with a lot of people. I've seen it. I've seen people share their experience with the franchise, what it's done for them, and hell, I can even attest to that myself. I grew up on this franchise. It means a lot to me. It means the world to me. And there are only two franchises that mean this much to me. It's the Harry Potter franchise and the Tomb Raider franchise. That's it. Nothing else. So I don't think it's exactly fair to people to call them transphobic or harass them for purchasing this game. I'm sure most of them understand that they're not exactly doing the right thing. Like I said, I apologize, but I did purchase the game and I did so knowing where does this money go. But like I said, the project meant a lot to me and I do feel guilty talking about this, that I purchased it, but I've been enjoying my time with it for so long. I 100%ed it 3 times. I've said it in this beginning of the video, but I'm just gonna say it again. I played through this title 3 times for 100%, and that's not something a lot of the games I play can brag about. So to summarize, the choice is up to you. You can either buy the game or not. I'm pretty sure that at this point, the discourse has kind of died down, so nobody will really judge you for buying the project. And if you're not a fan of the franchise, well, I pretty much said everything you need to know about this game. Extremely Ubisoft heavy, with lots of activities that are borderline tedious and uninteresting to perform, but with immaculate atmosphere, immaculate vibes, and I think you will appreciate them even if you're not a fan of Harry Potter or if you've never seen a movie or two. So yes, this is gonna be this video. I know it's not very informative, it's not very anything, but I just really wanted to talk about the game, and that's kind of gonna be the videos that I make. I really am trying to figure out the direction that I want my channel to go, and I feel like for now I'm gonna stick to this. I'm just gonna sit down and talk about the games that I really found myself enjoying. And luckily, we live in a fantastic time with fantastic video games, so there are a lot of video games that I want to talk about. So yes, if you enjoyed this kind of video, be sure to subscribe, to follow me. I promise I will try to be more consistent. I know that this video took 2 months, and you're watching this and you're like, how the hell did this take 2 months? This is so trash. I'm really sorry. It's a personal thing, it's a personal issue. I'm trying to work through it, and I will try to make more videos like this, more positive focused. I've learned from my last video. I didn't really enjoy the negative format, you know, the one where I just whine and complain about things that I have no control over. So I really want to shift the focus into something more positive, into something more uplifting, I suppose, is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, thanks for watching, and you're the best if you watch this entire thing to the end. Bye.